So Microsoft just said some stuff. I don't know, they published like a report, or if you can call it that, and then they kind of summarized it in like a little news article on their website. It's about their plans for the use of AI in game development. And it is, I mean, it's borderline dystopian. It's just, especially like, that's what's so funny about all this AI stuff, is like they have to present it all to us as though we are happy. Not even just as though like we care, but like as though we're happy about it. They have to present, I mean, you know, you always have to keep up appearances. You have to just, that's the thing about this AI. Nobody wants it, but the companies want it so much, they have to just kind of just play it straight. They just gotta just go with it. Just fake it till you make it. And that's what they're doing here. And I mean, I don't know. A lot of companies say a lot of things with words about games. Boy, this has got to be pretty up there in terms of just like bad things to say. You know, just like alarming and gross things to communicate to your audience. It's pretty rough. So instead of, addressing every single one of like my usual points about AI, you know, I've done a few videos on this before. I had a pretty big one, on the main channel. So I'm gonna just start things off by giving like my really brief, like Spark Notes version of how I feel. And it's that AI as a tool, it does and has always had applications for reducing workload, automating systems that used to be manual, and in this way, it can help with game development in a way that, like, sure, could potentially reduce the amount of available jobs, but only in the same way that technology has always done. New technology has always kind of taken away some opportunities, but sometimes presented other ones, and that's literally just technological progress. That's the thing. But generative AI, using AI to create visual or audio or design elements, is only, especially in the context of a big company like Microsoft, there is literally only one reason to use generative AI, and it's to replace artists. It's to take something that had to be done by an actual human being who needs, you gotta pay them money to get this out of them, to not do that, to not have to do that as much. That's it. Period. That is why Microsoft wants to use generative AI. It is for replacing artists, replacing writers, replacing a whole lot of people, replacing literally anybody they possibly can. Do not ever believe anything else that they say on the matter. That's why the companies want to use the AI, so they can pay fewer people. And if big companies were already really into just ticking boxes, chasing trends, doing precisely what they think will get them the most money, now they can use computers to be even more precisely generic, even more precisely box ticky. They don't even need a person to analyze these trends. They can use an AI now. Okay, that was longer than I wanted to, but that's basically it. More of my opinions are going to come up. What I'm going to do here, this may, I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm looking at this article that they posted. See, I can't even get through the first word. Empowering creators and players with Muse, a generative AI model for gameplay. That's their whole thing, is Muse is their big gameplay AI. I'm not going to read the entire article. I may read a lot of it. What I'm just going to do right now, we're just going to go through it. I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to, I don't know, respond. I'm going to give you my thoughts on some of these ideas. And, as usual, I'll say I try to generally be positive about things, but right now we're going full snark mode. We're going to go there. That's the type of video that this is. I'm gonna crank the cynicism up to 10. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on some of this here stuff. And I'm not even like the most well researched into all this. I'm actually trying to ignore a lot of this stuff because it's a little bit too depressing for me. But at least the way I see it, I'm gonna give you my perspective on this. So let's do it. Let's just move through some of the stuff in this this post. So yeah, start again with the title. Empowering, yep, gonna stop you there. Empowering creators. You see this a lot with AI stuff, is like they really wanna, they know that we're onto them. We know that we can smell what's going on. We know that they are looking to replace creators. So at every opportunity, at every possible opportunity, they try to remind us, no, it's about empowering creators. It's about giving creators tools to be even more creative. Of course. And yeah, here's the first little paragraph. In nearly every corner of our lives, the buzz about AI is impossible to ignore. It's destined to revolutionize how we work, learn, and play. For those of us immersed in the world of gaming, whether as players or creators, the question isn't just how AI will change the game, but how it will ignite new possibilities. This is a very common tactic in a scenario like this. Hey, it doesn't matter what you think about this thing. The battle, the war has already been lost. There is no, like that's what's so funny. It presents itself like it's very positive. But I can read the subtext here. I can see what they're really saying. It's whether you like it or not, AI is here to stay. And yeah, in nearly every corner of our lives, the buzz about AI is impossible to ignore. Well, that's funny coming from Microsoft, because one of the reasons I can't ignore it is because they are shoving it in my face at every possible opportunity. I have a Windows PC, and the AI stuff has just been creeping in. You're right. It is impossible to ignore. And then every other big tech company, it's Google, it's Apple, it's everyone. It's all AI. They are trying to convince you that AI is the only possible future, and they will accept nothing less than that. And then again, framing it as though this is a tool for creators and not a way to replace creators. Question isn't just how AI will change the game, but how it will ignite new possibilities for profits. Moving on, at Xbox, we're all about using AI to make things better and more fun for players and game creators. Okay, again, gonna stop you there. More fun. I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun. The artists who are gonna get replaced are not having fun. Even with something as simple as reading an ad for like a Microsoft thing, like a Windows thing, and seeing not grammatical errors, but just seeing like poor writing, like poor copy. That's not a thing. I could go on a whole tirade about this, but like that used to not be a thing. It used to be if a company put out like copy of an ad, it was at least well written. And I'm starting to see ones that are just poorly written, that are clearly being written by AI. It's clear that people are already being replaced, and the products are already getting worse because of it. But yeah, again, move on from there. Just saying, I'm not having more fun, and I don't think an AI is gonna figure out how to make things more fun for me. I think human beings are already really stinking good. Have you played video games before? Have you played games where they're all made by people? And I feel like they're already like as fun as possible. So again, yeah, I don't see the value there. Anyway, we want to bring more games to more people around the world and always stay true to the creative vision and artistry of game developers. We believe generative AI can boost this creativity and open up new possibilities. Really? Do you? Because in addition to saying that games are already very fun, did you also notice how they already are basically whatever they want to be? Like, I don't think there's like a kind of visual we can't create. You know, I feel like, I don't know like exactly what year art just hit this point where it's like, yeah, if you want to make a thing that looks a certain way, you can. There already are no limitations on what we can create artistically, and I have to wonder why replacing an artist who can create something with a person who types into a computer what the computer should create, I'm just not seeing that as a boost of creativity. I'm not seeing that as opening up new possibilities. I'm seeing fewer possibilities. In fact, when you remove that human element, you are actually, your pool that you're pulling from is kind of getting bigger, I guess, but it's all just copying. So like what you can actually produce and how valuable that's going to be, it's fewer opportunities. But again, moving on. But you will see again and again and again and again. They are, I mean, it's propaganda, basically. This is propaganda. They are trying to drill the idea in your head that this is for boosting creativity. This is for helping the artists make the stuff. And if they feel like if they say it enough, you'll start to believe it. And it's a much bigger, that's a much, you could really blow that up into a whole thing. We're not gonna today. We're excited to announce a generative AI breakthrough published today in the journal Nature and announced by Microsoft Research that shows this potential to open up new possibilities. Just throw it at us. Including the opportunity to make older games accessible to future generations of players across new devices and in new ways. More on that in a bit. The next paragraph just talks about their world and human action model, WAM, and how they've been working with Ninja Theory to create this model. And I just have to say, seeing Ninja Theory, like a real, I mean, I know they're owned by Microsoft, but like seeing a real honest to goodness game development studio get in on all this and work directly with Microsoft. And you're seeing these pictures of all these happy people in rooms and they're all like working on this. It's just like, it's the cow working with the farmer to build a better slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even just like the kid in the class who will remind the teacher that there's supposed to be a test. This is a kid working with the teacher to create a model where tests and homework can be administered on a level, on a scale that no one thought was possible before. It's surreal that, I don't know. I mean, and again, because they're owned by Microsoft, for all I know, the actual developers who make games at Ninja Theory, maybe they're not happy about this. Maybe it's just some people who have been installed in the company. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It is just a little sad, sad to see actual developers working with these executives on how to replace them, how to replace them later, on how to not have to hire more human beings. But yeah, it goes on about that. I don't want to get too much into that. It's just talking about how, yeah, the model and how we've created sustained gameplay and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, to accomplish that, they interviewed 27 global game creators from indies to AAA game studios to make sure the research was shaped by the people who would use it. Sorry for another aside, but I do have to wonder, how many people said no when asked about that? 27 people out of how many? Those were the ones who said yes. I can imagine there were a few who politely declined. And here's a pretty important section right here, titled "What Muse Means for Gaming." Although it's still early, this model research is pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. We are already using Muse to develop a real-time playable AI model trained on other first-party games, and we see potential for this work to one day benefit both players and game creators, from allowing us to revive nostalgic games to faster creative ideation. I really like that. I really like how you start the sentence saying something really, really scary and then end it by like trying to make it seem less scary. We're already using Muse to develop a real-time playable AI model trained on other first-party games. So just like all AI, not really creating something new, but just pulling data from a bunch of other things and creating something from that, training it on other things that already exist. Again, making the most generic slop box ticking garbage you could possibly imagine. And we see potential for this to work to one day benefit both players and game creators. We're doing a really scary thing, but it's actually a good thing that you like. And then the scariest part of all of that whole entire paragraph, faster creative ideation. Okay, here's the thing. I can't believe I'm telling this to Microsoft because, you know, a lot of people want to get into games and they say, I got good ideas. I'm that person, you know? I got loads of ideas for games. I just don't know how to make games. Here's the thing. There is no shortage of ideas in the game industry. There is not. There are plenty of good ideas. And the idea is just one thing that goes into making a game. Here's the thing though. Faster creative ideation is not something we need. It is not. It is simply not. And the fact that you have even brought, like, creating visual assets, scary enough. I don't want to see art not made by a person. That's not art anymore. It's just a regurgitation. I don't want to listen to music that was created by a generative AI. I want there to be more of, again, a human element. So all of that stuff is already bad enough. Or you know, like writing, NPC dialogue. I don't want any of that. That's all bad enough. But creative ideation. The ideas. They also want to use the AI just to come up with the ideas. And at that point, it is just so... It's dystopian. It is. We want to use computers to even just come up with our ideas. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Should probably just move on to the next point. Today, countless classic games tied to aging hardware are no longer playable by most people. Thanks to this breakthrough, we are exploring the potential for Muse to take older back catalog games from our studios and optimize them for any device. We believe this could radically change how we preserve and experience classic games in the future and make them accessible to more players. Okay. On the one hand, here, you've got a more practical and tool-based use for AI. Because like I said, using AI to just reduce the workload, that's a little bit more natural. That's just like, there was a process that was manual, or it took a lot of labor, and we've figured out how to make a computer make it easier. And that's what we've been doing with computers from the beginning. It's what we've been doing with machinery from the beginning. And again, it can be kind of sad. It's sad when jobs go away, but again, it really is just kind of like how technology works. So, okay. Using AI to like make backwards compatibility easier, or to alter these old games in a way that just makes them more accessible on more devices. Okay, you got me there. I suppose that is a little bit more reasonable. However, kind of like with the creative ideas thing, was there ever like really a problem? You know, like was there really a big problem with like porting games and preserving them? Because from where I'm standing, it kind of just seems more of an issue of like wanting to. Do you want to? Do you want to give us the old game? But like the actual ability to do it has not really been too much of a problem. I guess you could say some companies don't want to because it does take too many like hours to do, just too much work. And this could cut down on that and make it easier. Okay. Fine, if you got half of an okay point, then yeah, okay, sure. If you want to use an AI as a tool just to help with except at the same time, I still can't help but see this as just like, hey, game preservation, everybody cares about game preservation. AI help with game preservation, and they're looking at the crowd, they're like, right? We all care about that. That's a real thing. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, here we go though. Here we go. They're pulling it back to the previous thing they said. To imagine that beloved games lost to time and hardware advancement could one day be played on any screen with Xbox is an exciting possibility for us. Okay, fine. Another opportunity we are exploring is how Muse can help game teams prototype new gameplay experiences during the creative process and introduce new content, taking games players already love and enabling our developers to inject new experiences for them to enjoy, or even enable you to participate in the creation process. That's a really loaded paragraph right there, and really it is all over the place. It's really all over the place. Because again, like, okay, fine. If an AI can make it easier to open up a pre-existing game and put something into it, you could call that sort of a functional thing, as long as like humans are actually figuring out how to do this. But this is all of like the creative ideation thing. It's all mixed in. It's tainted by it. Even if you've got the seed of a good idea here, this will make it easier to take old games and to update them. Oh, that's cool. Update them with what? Oh, ideas created by generative AI. Okay, yeah, now it's become this scary thing where you're like Frankenstein monstering these old games and putting in new stuff that a computer came up with. I mean, like, come on. I know like the whole, this ruins my childhood. I know that's not really real. I know there's no like real way to like disrespect a property or a game or a piece of art because the original will always exist. But boy, you really are pushing me toward feeling that way with the idea of like taking an old game and having a computer come up with a bunch of garbage and injecting it into it. It's just like that if there is a way to disrespect a piece of art or the people who made it, boy, that must be it, huh? And another like maybe halfway practical one, Muse can help game teams prototype new gameplay experiences during the creative process and introduce forget the introduce new content part. Prototype new gameplay experiences during the creative process. Okay. It is true that prototyping takes a lot of work. That's another one that you could say may be okay if it is easier to create a prototype of your idea so that you can see it in action. That's another thing that could potentially be a good thing. That is just speeding up the process, but only exclusively if it is still people creating those ideas and you're just using the AI as a tool to experiment with those ideas. But again, it's probably not what's going to happen because of all of the other stuff said here. Yeah, moving on. And they do a lot of, they try to bring us into it. I haven't like read all of them, but there's like, Copilot Labs. They want us to be a part of the creative process. Oh, yes, another thing that AI allows is for the gamers themselves to be a part of the creative process, which is, I don't want to be. I want you to make the art, and I want to consume the art, personally speaking. And it just seems like another way to kind of get us feeling all chummy and happy about it, We believe it's important to shape how these new generative AI breakthroughs can support our industry and game creation community in a collaborative and responsible way. It's funny you can just say the word responsible. You can just say it. Doesn't mean you do it, but you just say it. Just like, hey Arlo, what are you doing? Is that 10 burgers? Did you buy 10 burgers? Are you gonna eat 10 burgers? It's okay. I'm eating these 10 burgers in a responsible way. You can just say anything you want. Again, a much bigger problem that is affecting a lot of the world right now. But I'm not gonna go into that. You can just kind of say anything you want. You just say it. You can just say the words out loud, and people can believe it if you want. All right. More empowering creators, propaganda. No better way to put it. For Xbox, game creators will always be the center of our overall AI efforts. Of course they will. The remaining game creators, the final ones who you need to be there to type the prompts into the machine, yes, there will be some humans left after the great artist purging. And yes, it is true, all of these tools are for them. First and foremost, it's made to empower them, yes. And digging a little harder into that, kind of just trying to make us more comfortable with the idea, we believe there is space for traditional game development and future generative AI technologies that serve as an extension of creative work and offer novel experiences. As part of this, we have empowered creative leaders here at Xbox to decide on the use of generative AI. There isn't going to be a single solution for every game or project, and the approach will be based on the creative vision and goals of each team. Okay, if that's true, again though, you can just say anything you want. If that's true, then you could argue that's a good thing. This is not, it may not be like an initiative, an executive order to immediately start replacing as many artists as possible and make sure that every game is created with AI. Okay, each creative leader can individually decide how to use it. All right, you could see that as a good thing. There is no single solution for every game or project. All right, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just gonna all the artists are just gonna leave and just get fired immediately, and suddenly every single Microsoft game is just an AI sloppy mess. Okay, my problem with that is, I guess it's twofold. One, the quote-unquote creative leaders. Well, what is a creative leader? If you have a game development studio and you have like the president, the head of that studio who makes all the decisions, you could call them a creative leader. They're making the broad decisions, deciding what the studio does. And what if that creative leader is getting a lot of pressure from Microsoft directly to save money? What if Microsoft has told that person that they need to fire 10 people by the end of the year? What if Microsoft is saying that their budget has been slashed for this next game and you're going to have to do whatever it takes to stay within that budget? Does that mean maybe you should replace some of these artists? Anyway, second thing is change doesn't always happen overnight. And that's and really you could boil all of this AI stuff down to really this. It's like, this may not mean that art is dead immediately, but it's a step in that direction. Every single thing we've seen with AI is us just marching toward that cliff, even if it's a tiny step at a time. This is a massive step. Just to be clear, they're saying, oh, these are like humongous breakthroughs in generative AI. Every breakthrough in generative AI is a massive leap toward that cliff, toward that future where content is just generated for us and there's no artistry, and all of these big companies are just creating whatever garbagey slop to just throw in front of you and keep you entertained for just away from your real stressful life for just another minute. Sure, today they're trying to use this AI stuff responsibly, and it comes down to the individual wants of the whatever. Okay, what about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now? What about 20 years from now? Because yeah, rivers, they don't change overnight either. It's a very slow process of the dirt and the stone being worn down. The water changes the way that it flows, and suddenly you look back and everything is different. And how did we get here? Well, we got here one little step at a time. Some may accuse AI skeptics such as myself of employing a slippery slope fallacy, but I will rebut that claim by saying, you know, some slopes actually are slippery. It's just, that's the thing. You know, not every slippery slope is a slippery slope. Fallacy, sometimes. It's just a slippery slope. And then the final chunk of the whole thing, what's ahead? AI experiences from Xbox. The whole thing is just, you know, tripling down on, we're doing this with the community. It's a community effort. We want you involved, yada, yada. Responsible AI. That's our commitment to responsible AI. And a dedication to developing AI solutions guided by 6 principles: fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability. AI, this may be terrifying, but don't worry, because we are doing it good. Please believe us. Please simply believe us. All of this we are doing it in a way that will only be good and you will only like, and it will not be bad at all. All of the things that we have said in this post are real, and we are not lying at all. The end. Love, Microsoft. So yeah, so that's basically it. And Yeah, I don't know. It probably goes without saying, but I am not into this at all. And I mean, they're not wrong. If this is the future, then there is nothing we can do about it because they create the future. They create all the products and things that we use, and I don't see myself stopping my use of technology anytime soon. So yeah, we pretty much do have to just kind of accept all this AI stuff, don't we? At the same time, though, at least on a personal, like, creative level, when it comes to what products, I can't stop Google from shoving AI onto my phone and in my face and asking me to use AI all the time. I can't stop Microsoft from doing Azure pop-ups all over my stupid computer. I hate it. But if Microsoft is putting out games and I have even the faintest whiff of AI being involved in the creative process, if there are visuals generated by AI, or especially ideation, the concepts, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. As always, I will just say, art is made by people. Yes, AI can take what people have made and create a cool new version of it. Yes, it can make visuals and things that are like, okay, yeah, if that was made by a person, I would say that was cool. Is that me being a hypocrite? No, because I just kind of across the board do not want to experience and quote unquote consume art made by a computer. I don't want to play a game if the idea for the game was made by an AI. I don't want to look at a game if the visuals were made by an AI. And I know all of this is murky. How much of it was made by an AI? How much of it was simply like AI tool assisted? We're not always gonna know. But that is why I think myself and a lot of others are probably just gonna take a better safe than sorry approach. And again, Microsoft announcing that this is their big thing right now. This is their big initiative, is to use AI in the creation of their games. And I guess that means I'm done with Microsoft games. I don't know. I don't want to just say that just across the board. I mean, they own a bunch of companies. They own Bethesda. What if Bethesda actually makes a good RPG again? I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if Elder Scrolls 6, if that'll be good or not. But what if it is and it comes out and it looks really good and I want to play it? I don't know. If it seems like it was created using a bunch of generative AI, then yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be interested. I can't say for sure, but my gut is telling me if it stinks, again, if there's even a whiff, just don't do it. I don't want to do it. Life is too short. There are too many games to play. I want to play games made by humans because the entire point of art is to communicate on some level with the people who made it. That's what art is. And yeah, I know games, sometimes they're more arty than others. Sometimes games really are just about fun, just pure fun. You pick it up and it's fun. But even that itself is something of an expression of the people who made it. There's still something of a connection going on there, and so that's the most important thing for me. I only want to experience things that were made the way that they were made because a person decided to make it that way, because that was how they wanted to express themselves creatively. So there you go. Man, that's all I got. I'll leave you with that. Man, oh man.